Hi everyone, welcome back to S&G Family Farm. This is just a little bit about myself and what my channel is going to be about. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Shay and I live in Amarillo, Texas. It's a pretty dry, windy, hot climate. We are located in the north panhandle of Texas, so up by New Mexico and Oklahoma. Let's see. I was born and raised here. I've been here my whole life. For the most part, I enjoy living in Texas. I do wish we had a bit more trees, but we don't, unfortunately. We're up on the plains, so. I'm homesteading. Technically, I'm homesteading 2 properties. Our house is located inside city limits, so there's only so much I can do as far as like livestock and stuff. We do sit on a bigger lot, so we are allowed chickens. The city ordinances said we can have 4 hens, no roosters. We actually have some bantams, so we can get away with a little bit more within the city limits. They do lay smaller eggs, but they take up less room. So that's nice. So I do have chickens here. We also have a lot of family pets. I've got 3 cats, a guinea pig, a ferret. We've got some reptiles. We have 2 lizards and an aquatic turtle. And then we also have a small Chiweenie mutt dog. She's adorable. And then the second property that we homestead would be my mom's property. It's where I grew up, actually. So on her property, she sits on about 5/8 of an acre. She is outside city limits, not super far. I would say probably about 15 to 20 minutes from where we live. We live on the south side of town, so she's not too far from me. Makes it really convenient, actually. But because she is older, and she has some health problems, she can't necessarily take care of her property. So kind of in exchange for us being allowed to have animals out there, we also help with some of the upkeep as far as like her yard work and mowing and stuff like that. So we have chickens out there. I have about 30 chickens out at her house. Most of them are laying hens. So I get quite a bit of eggs, and we do kind of sell them to friends and family. Right now it's not enough to, well, it's just not enough to help pay for them, really. It is a little bit of supplement. I probably make enough to buy a week's worth of feed for them from selling eggs to friends and family, but other than that, it's just, I don't eat a lot of eggs. I'm actually mildly allergic to them, so it's better just to sell them to friends and family so they don't go to waste. I do try to cook with them, and I will be freezing some of them when we have a higher quantity coming in when it gets, into spring and summer. And then we have goats. We have 2 does right now. Both of them are pregnant. One is getting really close to being due, and the other's probably be about 2.5 months away from being due. And then we sold our 2 boy goats this summer, and so we got a new boy goat. He is still a baby. He's about 10 to 14 weeks old at this point. He's a Nigerian dwarf buck. He's adorable. But he will be old enough and ready to breed this fall when the girls are ready to be bred again. Hopefully they'll kid out some doelings and I'll be able to keep them. Otherwise I'll be selling off the boys. So we do have, at the property in town, we do mostly gardening here. It's easier for us to upkeep with it. We do like tomatoes, peppers, some summer squash, cucumbers for pickling, and then of course our winter crops. So I haven't got any of those started right now, but I will be having radishes and carrots and cabbage and broccoli, and hopefully some Brussels sprouts this spring, and then again in the fall. We eat a lot more like the cold crops than we do like a lot of different varieties, and I'll have a whole nother video on the seeds we're going to be using for 2022 and the varieties we're choosing and where we get them from and all that kind of stuff, along with setting up my seed starting stuff again this year and getting all that stuff going. But for the most part, I mean, that's mostly what our channel's about. Just taking care of livestock and farm animals and gardening and canning and preserving that stuff. There will be a lot of canning, a lot of fermenting. I'm really looking forward to really trying out some new recipes and stuff. I got a fermentation kit this last year, and so we're going to really try and ferment food. Ferment food is much better on your gut health, and it really helps in a probiotic standpoint. So people who have a lot of digestive problems, or, I know it sounds gross, but bathroom problems, specifically like constipation, I know, fermentation can really help them because you're adding good gut bacteria back into your digestive system, and it helps, you process and absorb your food like you're supposed to and get rid of the waste like you're supposed to. So I'm looking really forward to being able to try fermented foods. I do really enjoy like the tanginess of fermented foods. Pickles and pickled cabbage and pickled beets and all that kind of stuff. They're delicious. I love adding them to salads or just eating them on the side. And I just really enjoy them. So I'm really looking forward to being able to make my own fermented foods, and be able to enjoy them. We are going to be working on adding some infrastructure this year out at my mom's property in hopes of being able to get turkeys and maybe ducks, along with growing our goat herd a little bit. I do want like 4 to 6 does, so I have 2 right now, which is a good start for anybody who hasn't kept goats before. 2 is more than enough. You can't do less than 2, but 2 is a great place to start with. You have a friend, and you don't have to worry about taking care of 15 head. It's just 1 or 2. It's like having a couple large dogs. They're pretty easy to take care of for the most part, but there's a lot of little things you got to keep an eye out for and all that kind of stuff. So we will be working on infrastructure so that we can add stuff next year, work on growing our herds. I will be setting up chicken pens for breeding purposes out on the second property. Those will only be used in the spring. So hopefully, I do have like Buff Orpingtons and Rhode Island Reds. Both are known to be really broody, so they set their own eggs. So by secluding them and allowing them to set their own eggs, I should be able to get maybe 15 birds out of it. Some of those will go to add to my laying hens, and then the roosters, of course, they will be used for food purposes. I'm looking forward to increasing my garden size. We have a pretty small garden at the moment, but we have plenty of space to grow it. And as my husband and I both work jobs outside of the home full time, we're just gradually adding stuff so that we're not putting a lot of stuff in and being overwhelmed all at one time. So we're taking our time getting some of this stuff going. So we've had a garden the last couple of years, but it's been really small. Just stuff to supplement like our summer, food intake. So summer squashes, some tomatoes, some peppers, a little bit of okra. Nothing extreme, but nothing in a large enough quantity to be able to put away. I have been over the last year collecting canning jars and lids and stuff like that because there was a huge shortage over the last couple of years on that kind of stuff because everybody was canning. So as it's coming back into stock, I'm picking up a little bit here and there per paycheck so that I'll have it when I need it, but not taking all of it so nobody else has it too. You can see one of my cats right here. She's the most friendly one. And then, of course, just, we're actually going to be moving at this property and the property inside city limits in town. We're going to be moving where our chicken coop is. It's been up close to the house, which has been great, but it's not giving them a lot of space, and it's where they're at is really shaded, so they quit laying pretty early in the fall. They quit laying because they weren't getting enough light. So I'm going to move them where they're going to be getting more light throughout the day, someplace where I can still shade them if I need to, but it's going to give them a little bit more, and it's going to give them more room. So we're going to update that. They do not free range unless we are there to supervise, because of the way it's set up right now, because of our little dog. She will play with them to the point of causing extreme harm. Unfortunately, she will kill them. Kind of learned that the hard way. We lost a couple of 4 to 6 week old chicks last year because she was trying to help us gather them and put them back in the fence where they got out. So, with that being said, we're going to redo our fence line for our garden so that I can let the chickens out in the summer and fall so that they can help clean it up and then fertilize those beds. So that's a project we've got going. Where the chickens are currently, we're going to be building some quail hutches. Quail are pretty hardy. They will stand up to being outside in cooler temperatures as long as they have wind blocks, just like chickens. So we will be building quail hutches. That is something that is going to be, they're not difficult to build. Quail are really easy to take care of. They're small, but they reproduce quickly. Their grow out time is way less than chickens, and they're just really delicious. I mean, one quail is a portion size for one person. It's economical. You can continually hash them out and raise them up whenever you need them, unlike chickens that take up a whole lot more room space. Quail are really small. So it'll be a nice addition this year. That's our goal for this year as far as animals to add is going to be some quail. What else are we going to be doing? I have a greenhouse that we tried to get started last year. Then we had an issue where we had placed it. We ended up having to dig up our gas line. And so we had to move it. So when we moved it, we situated it where there was not going to be anything like that. No gas line, sewage line, water line, anything like that. But because of our strong winds, the type of greenhouse we bought, which we knew when we bought it, we were going to have to make alterations to it. So we have the stuff to make the alterations to it, but we haven't got it done yet. So that's going to be, hopefully we'll get that finished this spring. That's going to be a main project over here. 2 main projects for over here is going to be the moving our chicken run and coop area and finishing our greenhouse to really help with seed starting and being able to start hardening them off to be able to put them into ground like tomatoes and peppers and stuff. From there, and then of course just adding more garden beds so that we can raise more produce and stuff. I really want to concentrate on being able to can salsa. My husband goes through a lot of salsa. He loves salsa and chips. That's his like go-to snack. So I do want to be able to can a lot more salsa this year for him. So we're also going to concentrate on growing the things for salsa. So cilantro, tomatoes, peppers, onions. And then of course I want to be able to try and can at least some pasta sauce and or some pizza sauce. We do like pizza. I really want to concentrate on making our own pizza at home. So a big goal as far as homesteading and in the kitchen will be to get some sourdough started so that, again, we're going back to the fermented foods stuff. So sourdough is a fermented type bread, which is much better. It's already helped break down those grains so that your body can absorb the nutrients from them like it's supposed to. So that's going to be the main goals for in town. For out on the other property, like I said, we're going to try and do some infrastructure. We will be doing some gardening out there this year. We're going to try and grow some of the like winter squash and stuff that needs a bit more space to be able to spread out. We're actually going to do what's called 3-sister gardening out on the other property. So we're going to plant something tall. So we're going to plant corn and okra. And then we're going to plant some sort of vining crop. So in this case, it's going to be peas. In this case, it's going to be not peas. It's going to be green beans and black-eyed peas. So I guess it would be peas. Green beans and black-eyed peas. And then we're going to plant probably like our winter squashes out there. So I'm going to do a pie pumpkin. I want to make some pumpkin butter for the holidays to give out as a gift. And then probably some watermelon, because you can't, it's the small baby ones, so they'll mature fast and then we'll be able to enjoy them without them going bad. So we'll do some watermelon and then some spaghetti squash and then maybe some either acorn or some patty pan squash, depending on what I can find, and go from there. So we'll really be able to enjoy that out there. and be able to demonstrate what that Three Sisters gardening aspect is all about. It's also something that the Native American people did here in the United States also, that you see predominantly shown in like the pilgrim stuff from them coming over. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of hard work to go ahead with this and everything else. If you like what you hear and you want to continue watching my videos, I'll be trying to post every Sunday and probably Thursday. Sunday and Thursdays are probably going to be my posting days. I do want to grow this channel, so if you will like and subscribe for me, and don't forget to click that bell notification so that you can get alerted to when I do post my new videos. Thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you come back and continue with me on this journey and watch as I work hard to get my garden grown and increase my farm so that we can support our families the way God intended. Thank you and have a good day.